Welcome, everyone. It's a dark, dreary day, or dark, dreary night out. Rain is falling. Wind's blowing. It's a good night for scary stories. And we are back at the Fireside. Before we get started, I would like to thank each and every one of you for joining us here again. And if you haven't had a chance to check things out at the Ebonstone Tower, theebonstonetower.com is the home of all things W.R. Frady. You can find Whispery Hollow, the Legends of Lacy Road, the Vampire Killer, or Darkhaven Manor, home of the Vampire Killer, and as well as other tales for the Fireside, and much more at the Ebonstone Tower. TheEbonstonetower.com. Also, while you're there, be sure to check in on Wolf Moon Studios to see see different types of art, and I hope soon to have commissioned art and also featured artists there as well. So be sure to stay tuned on that. And be sure to tune in and check out the Cantankerous Cauldron, because you never know what's going on in the mind of W.R. Frady and what's coming up in the future. Well, tonight I would like to welcome a special guest with us. This is Clint Ferguson.
What's up, everybody?
Also known as Clintstagram Cosplay.
Yeah, it's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful, but we'll get through it. And Clint has
lucky enough to experience some of these Legends of Lacy Road
firsthand.
Yep, we go way back, William and I.
Absolutely. And therefore, he wants to share one of the stories with you tonight. So, but we'll get to that in just a few minutes. First of all, I'd like to make a few shout outs. First of all, I'd like to shout out to each and every one of you, my Facebook, Instagram, cyber friends and family and fans. And I hope everyone is staying safe and wish everyone to be safe. Anyone who's in the path or have been in the path of the hurricane that has Ian, which has been sweeping through. Also, would like to give a shout out to one of my friends, Lynette Drachenblutt, who is a phenomenal photographer, artist, and model and stuff from Spain. She's getting ready to post up her 2023 calendars. So yeah, I'll make sure I'll put a link in that below. So, but yeah, get a chance, go check out Lynette Drachenblutt. Super, super cool lady. And honored to call her a friend. Let's see. My good friends, Chad from Moonrunner 83 and Megan McDuffie have just released their album, not album, but their singles just this past Friday, Phantoms, which is a good story, which is a good song for the Halloween season, just in the name. But, and it's a good song altogether. Definitely check it out if you like it. Chad and Megan are great, phenomenal artists and good friends. So, hopefully, you get a chance to go on, check them out. Let's see. Be Your Own Hero Productions. Be sure to look up, like, subscribe. Go to Be Your Own Hero Productions, home of The Devil's Daughter. And also now, coming up, which Devil's Daughter, multi-award winning film. It's a Harley Quinn origin story. So be sure to go check it out. Also, coming in the near future is the Stroh's Sinister Cinema. A great take in the similar tradition of not Creep Show, sorry. We were just talking about Creep Show. But a similar tradition in like the Mystery Science Theater.
Oh, yeah.
And the old Elvira, where she would host movies. It's a take, and it's a very comedy horror take on that.
Joe Block Briggs.
Yes, and it's phenomenal cast. We had a great time filming, so I hope that you'll go check that out and stay tuned because it'll be coming to a streaming service near you soon. Hopefully by Halloween, but I will stay tuned on that, and I'll get back to you on when that might be airing. Also, so any shout-outs would you like to
have? Bridget, you on there? Bridget's supposed to be, my wife's supposed to be on here. I don't know if she's not on here yet.
She may not have jumped on yet, but
she better
she will.
But all my friends and family, they know, accept my weirdness, I guess you could say. That's what's important with friends and family.
And weirder the better.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining in with us. Shout out to Shannon Griffin who just joined on. Good to see you. Thank you for joining.
Get my He-Man figures.
All right. And without further ado, we'll start off with the first story. The story is familiar to many of you who've heard it over the years. It's called By No One. Hey, Adara. How are you today? Called by no one. It was a bustling evening at the Frady house. Everybody had come home from school, work, was doing the things that we normally do. For me, or for William, or for Randy, you got me confused. But for Randy, it was playing Nintendo and games. Of course, with a good smattering of chores thrown in for somebody's fun, but not at mine. But and a knock come at the door. Randy could hear the voices exchanged downstairs and knew that his friend Stacy had come. Well, Stacy raced up the stairs, and we were sitting, and the two were sitting there playing Nintendo, and so again, they decided after a bit of hanging out and game playing that Stacy was going to stay the night. So we got all the arrangements made, and Randy's mom called in for pizza. It was kind of like a traditional thing when friends come to stay. It was usually the Pizza Express pizza and
or the fish fry.
Or the fish, yes. And so they went out, got the pizza, and we had Stacy and Randy went to Flick and went with them and rented a few games. Well, when they got back, they went in. They had their pizza. They enjoyed everything with it. And then once the pizza was done, they had their fill. they raced back up the stairs and back to the Nintendo to try out their new games. Stacy began, and he was playing his games first for a while. And then they switched out, and Stacy sat on the bed by the window while Randy played his game. And as the two played games and continued to talk on into the night, Stacy stopped and said, "Randy, hold on a minute." I said, Randy was like, paused the Nintendo, and he looked over and says, "Yes, Stacy, what is it?" "I think your dad's calling you." And so I paused and I waited and listened. And sure enough, from outside in the hallway behind Randy's chair, a voice, Randy, his dad's voice, called him. "Randy! Randy!" Well, figured it was the dreaded news that Randy and his friends always hated to hear, the dreaded bedtime. It was Randy turned and responded. He's like, "Yeah, Pop, what is it?" Well, instead of his dad's voice, a terrible hiss come from the other side of the door. Stacy and Randy looked at one another. And then they looked at the door and looked back, and they knew between them that something wasn't right. After a few minutes, when nothing had taken place, no more voice or anything had happened, Randy turned and went back to playing his game, while Stacy monitored the door and kind of watched the game. Well, a little while later, another voice coming through. It was Randy's mom. "Randy! Randy!" Stacy looked over at Randy and looked at Randy and said, Your mom's calling you." And Randy said, "Yeah, I know. But if Mom wants me, she'll come to the door and open the door and get our attention." So I didn't answer. I just waited to see if Randy just waited to see if his mom would come in, open the door, and come to the door and ask for him. No answer. Well, gameplay continued. A little while, time passed, and then Randy and Stacy heard Brigitta's voice echoing from out in the hallway, calling Randy to come outside. Well, Brigitta no longer lived there. She lived in Hildebrand. So when that voice faded out, it went to, a little while later, his oldest sister, Crystal's voice, called to him from the hallway. And bit by bit, person by person, the voices methodically went through each person in Randy's family. Each one calling him out into the hallway, and no one, all of them being either moved out or no longer living there. So there was no logical way these people were calling. Well, Randy and Stacy went on, and they continued to play the game. I'm eerily watching the door. The night it felt like it seemed to get darker. Just a little more, a little more menacing. And Stacy looked at Randy while they were talking, and then, without warning us, Stacy and Randy were looking at one another. Stacy's own voice called from out in the hallway, calling Randy to come out into the darkness. Stacy and Randy looked at one another. How long is it till daylight? I don't know. By that time, a shadow shot in from the doorway underneath the bed that was closest to the door. And Stacy said, I don't know. And I said, well, we're going to find out. So Randy and Stacy did not go to sleep that night until the sun peered over the horizon that morning.
Stacy here.
All right. And that was called by no one. Clint, I believe that as tonight's theme, as you can tell, just by the first story, tonight's theme is sounds. Things that happen, things that sound. Yes, it did. And sometimes it about near got me. But not the way it wanted. Anyway. But no, tonight's theme, tonight's stories, sounds. There's things that come from places that they don't belong. There's disembodied voices, a grunt, or a voice calling. And there are many, many stories I could tell. This could actually be a couple of part video. So, on the matter of sounds and things calling out into the night, I'll relinquish the story over to you, Clint.
Alrighty, I appreciate it. Alright guys, yeah, like William was saying, it was not uncommon to go to his house and we'd stay up all night, and you guys don't understand. We would have to take watch because we would hear something and I would try to sleep, and then William would watch the window or whatever. Then I would have watch. So there wasn't much sleep to be had, but there was many good times to be had. So, and I was what they would call the skeptic of the group. Yes. I was always looking for a logical answer. There's always an explanation. And the reason I wanted the explanation, or I was a skeptic, wasn't so much that I didn't believe William or none of these things. It was because I was scared, and I was trying to find something that make sense, but there was nothing that can make this make sense at all, especially this one. Now, William's house, I know he's described it before. I'll describe it as the Amityville house. Have you guys seen the Amityville? Well, the side of the house is similar to William's. It has the window up top, and it has two down here. It's kind of sort of has the same shape, roundabout. So it was probably 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning was the magic hour. We were always out and about in the woods and the field. And we were outside of house. I think we were, I don't know if we weren't collecting wood. We were, for some reason, just standing outside, and I could be wrong, but I believe he was refreshing me on the hand in the window.
I think it was one of the nights where we were actually just sleeping out in the field.
Yeah. And basically, his hand in the window story took place directly above us in his bedroom window. We were basically on the ground outside of his bedroom window. There used to be an old shed that was tore down, and we were standing right there. And when I tell you it was dark, it was dark. You could not see from here to the screen. You could not see anything. I couldn't see where he was at. I had to ask him a few times, "Are you there? Did you leave me?" So we were standing there, and out of nowhere, I hear this growl. And it's not just a growl. It's not a dog. You know, he had several dogs, but they would never growl. This was not a dog. I'm the skeptic, remember? So take my word for it. This was not a dog. And it was probably not even 6 feet from me, and it was probably about waist level. And it was the weirdest, loudest growl slash grunt slash like it was a deer blowing when they blow. It was just like a and I just froze, and I said, "Tell me you heard that. Tell me I'm not crazy. Tell me you heard that." And of course he heard it, and I'm like, "What do we do? Do I kick at it? Or what do I do? We just stand there and wait for it to get us?" So we never did hear anything, but you know, at that point, that's just one of the many experiences I've had at his house. There's countless others, you know. Luckily, I get to share in his stories, you know, and you just can't explain some of the things that happen. And I know this isn't like a real long story, but basically, that growl or that grunt, still to this day, I have no idea what it was. I'm not saying it was a werewolf. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't a dog, and it wasn't William, because William was over here, and the growl was right here in front of me. It was about
just on the other side of
the
weeds.
And his dogs were small. They were tiny. One of them's named Baby. You know, they're tiny dogs. You know, they bark, bark. That's about what they're going to do. They're not going to go, "Rugh," you know. And it was the blowing sound that really got to me. It wasn't just like a growl. It was like a snarl. And that's where to this day, I still say it's the growl from the darkness, as I call it. So take with it what you will, but it really happened. And that's my story.
All right. Thank you, Clint. Now that you've had a couple of Legends of Lacy Road, let's continue on with this thing. Yeah, there's a lot of creepy things that happened out there.
After that, when we had to get his father would always make us collect firewood, sometimes split wood too, which I thought was fun. We'd have to collect firewood, and I was like, "Nope, you can have it. I've been here playing Nintendo. You can go get the wood by yourself." But no, I would go out there because, you know, Randy was with me, and, you know, nothing's going to happen when he's here. You know, he had my back.
Now, hello Heather, how are you? Now, and there was somebody over here I was trying to see. Moduj. Okay.
Well, I can't see because I'm old.
Yeah. I was going to say hey to them as well. But anyway, It's good to see you as well. Now, our third story and final story for the night is adapted from some of our favorite books, the Scary Stories collection, and is aptly titled The Voice. It was bedtime, and Ellen had just got donned her night clothes and went and laid in the bed like her family had. Her father came in, they tucked her in, and they bid each other good night and that they would see each other tomorrow. And as her father went out the door and started down the steps, he reached over and clicked off the light. The room quickly filled with darkness, but it was also quickly replaced by the ethereal glow from the window. She could hear her father go down the steps, and then, before long, she saw this dim glow underneath her door where the lights were cut off, and the glow faded. And all went well for about a few minutes, maybe an hour. And just as Ellen was starting to drift off, she heard a voice whispering in a strange whisper that could be heard from the distance. Ellen, I'm coming for you. And she heard the foot creak on the first step. I'm climbing the steps now, Ellen. I'm on the second step. And she got here and she was like, Mom, Dad. But her voice echoed hollowly in the room, and no light came on down below. No one to answer. Ellen, it said, getting louder. The footsteps getting closer. Ellen, I'm at the top of the steps, and I'm entering the hallway. And she pulled her covers up tight, and she didn't know what to do because her mom and her dad didn't hear her. And as she tried to reach out, she heard her door creak open. And just as it creaked open, it creaked shut. Ellen, I'm in your room. Ellen balled up, and all of a sudden, she heard it, and she could even feel the breath as it said, Ellen, I am by your bed, and I've got you. And then she sat up and she screamed. At once, the lights down below came on, and her father and mother come racing into the room and turned on the lights. She says, there's somebody in here with me. And she was terrified. But as her mom and dad checked the room, there was no one in sight, and no sign of anyone having been there. All right. I hope you enjoyed the voice. And I hope you enjoyed tonight's stories. It was a little different, a little more unorthodox.
This is just sounds.
Yeah. And like I said, we might do a Sounds Part 2. Who knows? If you want a Sounds Part 2, let me know. Send me a comment or something. Let me know that you want a Sounds Part 2. I would love to hear your feedback on that. And if you'd like Clint to join me again, definitely. You could always tell more stories from the Legends of Lacy Road.
I've got plenty.
So.
And the story he just told, I know it was, adopted from scary stories, but that story was literally how it was at his house. You would hear something outside his bedroom steps, and Clint didn't open the door. Clint was just like, you can have it, whatever you are. William, if you want to go out there and investigate, have at it. But Clint's going to stay here and play Ninja Gaiden, or whatever it was. And, it was just, that door stayed shut.
What was worse is going down the steps at night to go to
Well,
the
we didn't go down the
kitchen.
steps sometimes. If we had to go to the bathroom, I'm not going to say how we improvised on the bathroom.
But, and yeah, you go down the steps and you'd feel that ominous presence of something right at your back, and you always hear that old phrase where it's like, when you feel something walking over you, when you feel something looming over your back, don't look back.
No.
Don't look back. And that was exactly how it
Honestly,
felt.
for me, the creepiest part was, because there was no lights upstairs in the hallway, you round the corner, go down the steps. For me personally, the creepiest part for me,
Long, dark hallway.
there you go. You go down the steps, and then if you go straight down, you're going to go out the front door, basically, the living room. But you always are going to the kitchen. We were always getting something to eat. We were always going to the bathroom. And you had to make that creepy turn, man.
Well, the worst is that you was coming down beside of it.
You're beside the creepy hallway.
And you just felt like something was going to reach through at times.
Where the shadow figure, you told that story.
Yeah.
This is the hallway. So when you're going down the steps, the little spindles, your legs are level with where that thing was. So I would always kind of do that number. And Clint never, ever went through the hallway. He always took the long road around the living room.
I don't think any of us took the hallway at night. I mean, I was daring at a lot of things on that, but
that for me, that was the creepiest part. Going down and it was just pitch dark because your parents were in bed.
Well, that hallway had no windows, and the only windows it did have was at that back door where the tri-pane windows like the first one had, like the front door had. But I said it went straight out onto the back porch, so it was just completely.
Literally, the only light we would have was maybe they sometimes would leave the kitchen light on.
Yeah,
that's it. The living room was just as dark as upstairs sometimes.
Yes.
But that hallway, I'm telling you, is creepy. But yeah, that once you were at his house and you were upstairs for the night playing video games, whatever, that's pretty much it for me. I wasn't going back downstairs until it was daylight.
Got a little bit of extras. I'm gonna do it. Yeah, we can call that extras.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I could talk for hours about this stuff. You guys, you don't know what it's like to experience firsthand the paranormal, not paranoia.
It made you feel that way sometimes.
Yeah.
I won't lie.
But it's just, at the time, I'm scared. I'm a scared kid, but that was the best times of my life. Honestly, some of y'all don't know what it's like because we have this technology and stuff, but you don't know what it's like just to go stay the night with your buddy and just experience life without technology and just, I don't know. I just miss it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna start crying.
Neither did you. But no. Yeah, it was always an experience.
Yes, that's exactly right. It's always an adventure.
Yes.
But that's a story for another time, like Conan.
Yes. again, I'd like to give a few shout outs to everyone who joined in tonight and watched and was commenting along with us. Thank you very much for joining in and commenting. Thank you for being a part of what makes W.R. Frady's live ghost stories by the Fireside worth it. And, it's because of folks like you are why I'm able to get on here and have people like Clint and everybody come on, and who knows what other guests and stuff we may have join.
Lacy.
That would be good. And, but yeah. And, again, you guys make this possible, and I appreciate it. You make these stories, these Legends of Lacy Road, and are my scary stories to tell in the dark. They are, except they're scary stories to tell in the dark that actually happened. But then I get to share some of your favorite stories with you, and as well as some of our authors and even some of my original stories. And it's really a great way. It's great to get out and be able to see you guys come on and support. They said, thank you. Thank you very much. Also, if you'd like to support the project, I'm working toward building the funds to go to Romania for a writing journey, to do some research and stuff. So if you want to support the project, go to buy me a cup of coffee. I'll put a link to that on there as well.
Is that Ko-Fi or whatever?
Yep.
Ko-Fi.
Yep.
You make GoFundMe.
I might have to try that.
Well, somebody make it for you.
But, excuse me.
Because we need to get this man to Romania.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you right now. This man needs to go to Romania. That's all he's talked about since he was like...
That's my dream vacation.
Yeah.
Well, dream vacation, but now, I say Romania because Romania is one of the few areas that are still in Europe that still has actively working medieval villages.
His dream vacation would be to go back in time to Romania.
Yes.
Not tourist Romania, but like...
Yes.
Real.
And when I do go, I'm actually planning on staying in what's called a pension. And a pension is a place where a family actually puts you up in their home, and they treat it like a hotel, and you actually get to be a part of that, get to kind of live with, yeah. So it's more about getting in, being a part of the culture, part of...
Kind of like a foreign exchange student, but you're not a student.
Right, and I'm going over, and I get to go travel and go see the things that I want to see, and get the research I want to do, get to see actual castles. I love writing and drawing and doing stuff with castles. To get to be able to see them firsthand is also, would be a great, for vacations, there's other places I want to go in Europe, but nothing is as important to me right now as getting to the place that will further my dreams, my goals, and things that I'm trying to do. So yeah, if you want to support this and support support what I'm doing, feel free to buy me a coffee. And again, I'll have the link up in the description, so I appreciate it. And Clint, it's been good having you on tonight.
As always. Hope to come back again.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I got time, even just to sit in, honestly, guys, because I watch them on here all the time, but it's nice just
being a part.
Yeah, being a part of, experiencing here, because there may be some kind of technical difficulties or something.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, just for a quick bonus ghost story. Last season, and you might be able to find the episode on Instagram, because it's on Instagram. It was on the Instagram camera that picked it up.
Yeah, that one.
And Instagram. I was sitting here telling a story when a shadow walked right in front of the camera. My Facebook Live account didn't catch it, but it was evident right on my Instagram. So it gives you a good reason to go back and watch last year's episodes and see if you can find it. If you do, comment, let me know. All right.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Well, everyone, I will thank you very much for joining on with us and taking out of the evening on this blustery, rainy evening and sharing in the few ghost stories by the fireside. We'll be back next Friday. Who knows Clint might be back. Somebody else might be here. Or it might just be me. But until then, everyone have a safe weekend. And see you in the shadows.